Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has come for the opening of today's show. And it's going to be a wild show. We'll be talking about Donald Trump, what happened with the Canada Prime Minister, talking about the Pope and the pizza and what's happening with the papal conclave, talking about missiles being fired by the Yemen Houthis and Israel's response. But I'm going to talk about all of that is part of the return of the lion. You go to lancewallnau.com/lion or call 1-800-910-6349. You know why? Because I wrote down here my current thinking on why it is that we see this shift happening in the world. There's a window we've got right now while Trump is in the White House. I believe this window, I pray to God it's longer than just 4 years. But anyway, it's a window. And during that window, you're watching Davos and the globalists get shaken. The Communist Party, CCP, getting shaken by Trump's global policies. What you're looking at is, I would say, the emergence of a different administration of answered prayer by rulers being raised up over nations that are supporting sovereignty, sovereign nations like the Kentucky Derby, horse that beat journalism. That's right. The number two winner was journalism. The number one was sovereignty. I think God is saying something. And I wrote a prophetic book to describe the lion is on the move. Return of the Lion. You want to go to lancewallnau.com/lion. And I'm not lying when I tell you, it's the best book I wrote yet on what's happening now. Now let's get into today's show. It's that time of day when we bring you compelling and important prophetic information. I'm telling you, my job in life is to try to seek God and then look at what's going on in the chaos of the cosmos and find where it overlaps together and creates that, what we call that prophetic convergence zone, that area where I could interpret what's happening. And that's what I want to do right now, but we're going to start in an unusual place. I can remember I have corny dad jokes when I grew up, and my uncle would always repeat to me the stupidest one. He'd fly in from Atlanta, Georgia, and he'd start off and he'd say to me, well, in the race of life, cabbage is ahead. And I thought that was so stupid because it's like cabbage is ahead of cabbage. It's a dumb joke. But I'm going to tell you something unusual for a Pentecostal holy man. I'm going to talk to you about the Kentucky Derby because it's so unusual. Do you believe that God sometimes can speak through the ordinary, unusual things of life? Meaning, listen, he's not as religious as you think he is. And so he can even prophesy through a Super Bowl. Not always, certainly. I'm not going to deprecate the dignity of the prophetic. But I'm going to tell you, God could talk through anything. He talked through an ass to speak to Balaam. He spoke through various metaphors to Israel. Sovereignty is the name of the horse that nobody thought would win. And the horse that they bet on thinking it was going to win was called journalism. Sovereignty beat journalism in a muddy battle to the finish. Why? It was raining, and the mud splattered, and in the mud splattered, slander splattered world of journalism, the sovereignty of God prevailed, and God's mission, purpose, and predetermined will punched through the slander of the journalist demons of Leviathan and Jezebel. I'm telling you, it was a photo. It wasn't even a photo finish. It was a clear finish. But here's what's interesting. The race itself, if you're looking for numbers, if the fingerprints of God is in the cosmic coincidences of life, sovereignty wins, and it goes out of the gate exactly 7 minutes after 7. The number of divine order, divine perfection. Running on the Hebrew Sabbath. 7 is the number of rest, the day of rest. And so what God predetermined before history began in his sovereign will, boom, shows up and manifests 7 minutes after 7 on the Sabbath of Israel. Sovereignty beats journalism. How long was the race, Brother Lance? 2 minutes and 2 seconds. The nose punches through first. 2 minutes and 2 seconds. What number race was it, Brother Wallnau? It was the 151st Kentucky Derby. And if you look up the number 151 in Hebrew, you will see what the race conveys. In the Greek, the number 151 means obscene and base. You're talking about the Spirit working through journalism. obscene and base. It's been an ongoing demonic mudslinging. However, in the Hebrew, that same word is adoram, which is a figure, curiously enough, that was a servant in the house of David who helped build the temple of God. He managed the workforce. And when David's son Solomon hired him to continue managing the labor force, building his projects with the wisdom of God, well, once Solomon died, poor Adoram had to represent his son Rehoboam, and during a period of civil war. Civil war. And he was martyred because he went as a representative of Rehoboam, representing the labor force, and they stoned him, and they divided the country between Jeroboam and Rehoboam, and Israel had a civil war. Judah to the south, Israel to the north. That's how they got two names, by the way. That's why Israel goes into captivity to Syria before Jerusalem and Judea collapse into the arms of Babylon some 100-some-odd years later. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Oh, the rider on the horse number 18 in the Greek. I'm not saying this is all true. You can make fun of me if you want, but I'm saying if we wanted to do a deep dive on are there any symbolisms in these numbers, number 18 was the number of the horse. It means empowered by God. Ha-ha! Sovereignty, empowered by God to do good. And the Hebrew word means to fatten or to feed, as you would feed a colt or feed a donkey or feed an oxen with certain food that would fatten it and strengthen it. It's where you get the Hebrew root for the word manger, which is where Jesus was born. You could say that number 18 is fed by good food that isn't defiled, and it runs the race of sovereignty and wins, and defeats the obscene and base mudslinging of journalism. Woo-hoo! You can't make this stuff up. Oh, dear. Should I even mention that the crowd of some 144,000 people were watching? I don't want to keep going down the rabbit hole of Revelation coincidences. Anyway, thought you'd like that segment on the Kentucky Derby. I think you guys have, I don't know if you have any, my video team sometimes says, oh, gosh, did you see the big kerfuffle form caused by Donald Trump with the AI image of him dressed as the Pope? Put up image 19. Everybody's freaking out over this, and it's hilarious. I mean, but, so Trump, I don't have to play for you the video where he's defending. I mean, it made a big kerfuffle. He goes, look, guys, somebody made the image, and he deflected his responsibility. So somebody posted it. Well, I think it's his website. He does it. But he said, it's just fun. It's just, he sees it as poking humor. Of course, not every Catholic felt like that was, treating it reverently. But if they understood how Francis was as the environmentalist, immigration, Marxist Pope, you'd understand why Trump would kind of feel like he has a right to talk about the office in a satirical way, especially if you have satirical policies coming from the Vatican. But the Canadian Prime Minister visited today, and he spoke some bad words about Trump. I actually was laughing. I woke up laughing today because I was kind of blurry-eyed in bed and just, I knew I was doing the broadcast today, so I checked to see what's in the news. Oh, look, the Canadian Prime Minister's already coming down. He hates Trump. He ran against Trump. But what's really funny is Trump made this comment. He said, he really should like me since I'm the reason why he got elected. Because Trump's so infuriated the whole country with his, you might as well be a state. Be the 51st state. We don't need your trees. We don't need your water. We don't need your energy. We don't need your cars. Really, basically, we're doing business with you to prop you up, and even that's not fair. Why don't you just become a state? So in Trump's mind, he's being serious, but the Canadian Prime Minister is down today. Let me get my earpiece in here. I want to hear this thing. So Trump, Canada, the PM says Canada's not for sale. And I can't believe Trump dares to say never. All right, let's watch this, see what happens. I haven't seen it.
When you consider what Mr. Carney just said, that Canada's not for sale, Does this make the discussion a little more difficult to start on?
No, not at all. No, not at all. No, time will tell. It's only time. But I say, never say never. I've had many things that were not doable, and they ended up being doable, and only doable in a very friendly way. But if it's to everybody's benefit, Canada loves us and we love Canada. That's, I think, the number one thing that's important. But we'll see. I mean, over time, we'll see what happens.
Let me tell you something. You think he's crazy. I know the left thinks he's crazy. He's not crazy. He's a mathematician. He knows that if his policies are perpetuated by J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, more likely J.D. than Marco, we'll see, then he's saying that economically, hemispherically, we're their protection from Russia, China, eroding that vast landmass. We're their financial buffer, too. They won't have an economy. They are almost dependent on us. So he's just saying, we'll see. He's not talking arrogantly. When he was talking about Greenland, he's serious also. You know why? Because he's thinking in terms of hemispheric defense. He sees the Panama Canal and Greenland and Canada as part of a northern hemisphere that must stand up as its own contiguous unit, its own asset base, guarding its own coast with American military from China, working with Russia, coming through the separating landmass of the ice in the north. You think I'm crazy? I understand. Listen to me. I got some connections. I know what's going on. Trump is thinking militarily about a hemispheric economic zone that he could protect. Anyway, we'll see. Unfortunately, America has, takes a stupid pill every now and then, and it goes back to, like, he's trying to reset a $36 trillion sinkhole of a potential collapse of the economy. And all the stupid Wall Street Journal can do is prophesy, Trump's going to create a depression. He's trying to counter the $36 trillion hole. The Wall Street Journal ignores that we're about to step into. He's trying to fix it. It's going to take time. But it can happen. Oh, I can't believe I only got 1 minute. Carl, you're sitting there kind of patiently. Normally I do these shows by myself, but, I mean, you're here in the studio. I covered a couple of different stories. Do you have anything? We got Israel. We're going to have Israel watching this show, and a lot of Arabs in the Middle East, too. So anything you want to say that could be of interest to anybody?
I imagine so, but I don't want to derail what we've got going on here. One thing that I would like to say, as somebody who's not Catholic, but I have family members who are Catholic and friends who are Catholic, the idea that the leader of the free world would post AI images of himself as the Pope, even if it was done in jest, is done in bad taste, in my opinion, and my friend's opinion, and it's perceived as sacrilegious. So that type of tone-deaf post, in my opinion, doesn't help him at all, except to rally his base of like, yeah, get him, go get him. It's bad policy, in my opinion. It lacks tact. So that's just my 2 cents.
Carl, you, of all people, who we know in my family, are the one person that will violate the rules of propriety at almost recklessly, running over the guardrails of what's appropriate. And you're saying that was a lack of sensitivity.
Well, it takes one to know one. So I'm the one with authority to say that was out of line. Yeah.
Can't argue with that logic, people. We're going to take a quick break because we need to stop and take a break. We'll be right back.
High achievers don't wait for the perfect moment. They train for it. And right now, it's your turn. Gold Medal Performance is your playbook for mastering pressure, sharpening focus, and showing up at your best no matter the challenge.
Your dominion on the outside is related to your victory on the inside.
With Christ in you, you've already got what it takes.
You have to expand with the pressure. And God gives you grace to do that.
Go to lancewallnau.com/gold medal. That's lancewallnau.com/gold medal. It's time to live like the champion you were born to be.
Trump's comments to those who were criticizing his papal humor. He said, it's just a joke. Cut me a break. That's Trump's comment. Hey, at least you know what you're getting with him. Don't go reading any Q symbolism. His fingers are pointing like this. He's saying some mystic signal. No, he isn't. He's just being goofy.
But also, shouldn't we, as the public, kind of know when he's joking instead of having to just give him the grace of like, well, he wasn't serious about that?
I think those of us that follow him closely that don't have any residual derangement syndrome, we totally get it. And it doesn't mean, I'm not saying that I would advise him to do what he does. I mean, I would have said to him, lighten up on the 51st state thing. I mean, let the conservatives win. I mean, you don't want Canada going under another Trudeau, but he did. He pushed them over the edge. I love the guy. He's hilarious. I'm going to enjoy him while he's there with all of his eccentricities. The papal conclave, find the Pope in the pizza. Here, while we're talking about Catholicism, all cardinals, by the way, find the Pope in the pizza. This is interesting. How many of you know what I just did? How many of you are clueless as to what I just did? Father Guido Sarducci on SNL used to do. We'll have to stick a segment in here. Go find me a Pope in the Pizza on YouTube. We can stick in here so I could show people that are younger when SNL had a kind of an interesting sense. And they got away with it because he acted like the comedian acted like he was a Italian priest who was following the Pope and giving him advice on how to market his ideas better.
I honestly thought it was a Pizzagate reference, so I'm totally out of my depth on that.
Oh, see what I mean? See what I mean? All right, find it for me, Will. Give me a Pope in the Pizza segment back there. I want to stick a minute and a half in here while I got 10 minutes gone. In the meantime, the papal conclave, all cardinals who will elect a new pope arrived in Rome. And I heard this lady today, and I don't want to go there right now, but especially for my folks in Israel, I want to cover what's happening in Israel. I'm going to be coming down to visit you all in Israel. I'll be at Barry's studio. I'm going to go down to speak in Jerusalem shortly, but I'm going to cover the Israel prepares Operation Gideon's Chariots to take over Gaza, clear Hamas. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But what was I talking about before I went there?
Pizza.
Huh?
SNL.
No, that was, I went from there to something else. Oh, the Pope's being picked right now. That's what it is.
There it is.
So we got a new Pope coming in, and I watched this lady who I'll get her name because I'm going to get her on the show. She was with Steve Bannon on War Room today. She's talking about this disastrous deal the communist China made with Pope Francis to sell out the Catholic Church so the communists would pick all the bishops in China, disappear the good bishops they had, lock up one prominent Catholic leader, and replace pictures of Jesus or the cross with pictures of President Xi in the churches. Man, this sellout, and for money, there was a transaction made that was financial. One of the most scandalous arrangements that has not been discussed is how the Vatican sold out Christians to communist China. This lady has this website. Well, and I'll come back and we'll talk about it later. I'm not gonna drop the subject because when I hear something like that, I'll tell you it gets my blood boiling. I'll tell you I get upset about it. So the papal conclave is there's one pope, maybe one pope that's conservative that will reverse some of Francis's absurd. Francis populated like a politician. 80% of the appointments now for cardinals came from him. But his name is not Francis, it's Jorge. If I had said Jorge Buccarello, whatever his name was from Argentine.
Buckle up, Buckaroo.
Huh?
Buckle up, Buckaroo.
Yeah, anyway, he's got a different name, Jorge something or other, but it's Pope Francis. Anyway, the list keeps on changing, but while there are a few cardinals seen as potential front runners, speaking of the Kentucky Derby, meanwhile, if I had a Monty Python moment here, I'd have the Cardinals all there doing their racing, on these fake horses, jump, trying to get to the finish line. While there are a few cardinals seen as potential front runners to succeed Francis, the two mentioned are Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin and Filipino Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. I don't know. It sounds to me like they're both Italian. I think they are. So, many of the voting clerics have not made up their minds yet. My list is changing. I think I will continue to change over the next few days. I don't know why I'm using a Rodney Dangerfield voice for that. That's the British Cardinal Vincent Nichols participating in his first conclave. He told Reuters, it's a process for me, and it's far from concluded. Going back to Rodney.
I feel like these Christians, they get no respect. You know? They get no respect.
These Cardinals get no respect. Anyway, I'm going to find out who the good guys are and the bad guys are, because I'm promising you, I'm getting the skinny on these papal candidates. Did you find Guido Sarducci yet? Come on, back there. I got a room of professionals. All right, this is broadcasting into Israel. The IDF completely disables Houthi-controlled Sana'a airport on strikes in Yemen. Yeah, no kidding. They shot a flippin' missile right to the Tel Aviv airport. Now that really makes me mad because I fly into Tel Aviv. I don't want a stupid Houthi missile blowing me up at the Ben Gurion airport. So Israel pounded them. Fighter jets hit their power station, cement factory hit their airport. I mean, the Yemenis got to get rid of the Houthis. Get rid of them. I think I heard them finally say uncle, and Trump said he's not going to be bombing him anymore. But it's so irritating to have this suicidal. You guys that are in Israel, come on now. Even the Arab community in Israel, you got to know what I'm talking about. You don't want missiles landing on your kids.
Well, I mean, maybe I'm approaching this from the wrong philosophy, but if it's done in the name of jihad, then it's a glorious death, right? And it's a holy war that they're doing. So
they're not even doing it in the name of jihad. They're just doing it because they hate Israel. They don't even dare. They're not even cleaning it up with a sanctified theology. They're just wild men. I mean, there's they're not even. I'm telling you, they're just anti-Israel. They don't even have a religious aura on it.
Fascinating. I thought this was done through generations and generations of passed down trauma, all in the name of jihad, saying this is the holy war, this is their holy war.
Well, yeah, you can keep on clarifying it and make it like generations of passed down trauma. These guys have been living in relative peace. They have relative peace and prosperity. They decide, I don't want that. And their hatred overtakes their rational. It's like the reptilian brain overtakes the rational brain. And you say, I think I'm going to blow it up. And so it's a spiritual thing. I mean, my compassion is that Satan can put something in you which generationally just is like, sleeper cells. Like, ooh, it's like you got it from the lineage in your family. Like alcoholism comes down and it creates different vulnerabilities. So there's spiritual systemic characteristics of lingering hate and resentment that's just waiting to be, but you're not even aware of why. Why do you hate? You're raised to hate other people because you're taught to hate them, which goes to what Gordon's segment was. People learn. A lot of it is in the education system. They're taught that the Jewish people are somehow their enemies, and it's sad because the Jewish kids are not taught that. Anyway, I want you guys have not found a segment yet for me to put in here, right?
Well, no, we can't do the SNL skit. We're not allowed to legally.
You're not. You guys are amateur lawyers back here. I'm going to have to get some professional help for my team. I mean, every time I want to put, if it's on YouTube, you can put it on YouTube.
No, you get flagged. You'll get demonetized. You get taken down. The whole account will get taken down.
Oh, I'm sure Rumble's going to take down Guido Sarducci. 30 seconds of him.
Rumble, sure, but I mean, YouTube.
That's where this show goes on. This show goes on Rumble.
Yeah, but that's one of the platforms. There's other platforms that we have to cater to. That we have to consider.
All right, people. See the frustrations I have? Oh. All right, anyway, we're getting baptized. For you that are in the Middle East, I want to tell you what's happening in America. 7,752 have declared new life in Christ, including Sammy the Bull Gravano. Really? He was in the, what crime family was Sammy the Bull in? He was with John Gotti. Sammy the Bull just got saved? With the John Gotti crime family? That's a story and a half.
The Gambino crime family.
The Gambino, but he was also with Gotti. He was Gotti's hitman.
He was an underboss in the Gambino crime family, according to Wikipedia.
Well, Carl, I want you to keep reading, and you're going to see that he then went and was a partner with John Gotti.
Sure.
But he started with the Gambino crime family.
Can do.
Not related to the Corleone crime family, which is a fictional family. Last year, in California, there was 12,000 baptized by from nearly 300 churches. But I'm telling you, this water baptism thing is happening. I'm excited about it because it shows, and we'll put some pictures up here. My team, hopefully not being copyright restricted, will put pictures up from CBN and show you pictures of people getting baptized by, and it's good because God's power is moving. Now, the baptism started in Israel with John the Baptist. But CBN reported more than 280 churches and 8,000 attendees watched 4,000 people flock to the shore of Pirates Cove to declare their new life in Christ. And Pirates Cove is where they had the last Jesus movement. This gives me hope, ladies and gentlemen, that something is happening that is a spiritual breakthrough that will affect all of you. By the way, I'm going to go back up here. Ukraine signs deal to give U.S. access to rare minerals with Trump administration committed to a peace process. So let me explain to you what that looks like. We got 1 minute left. Donald Trump wants to recoup all the hundreds of billions. The guy's a businessman. Every president should be a business person because they're the CEO of the United States Incorporated. They got to bring money in and they got to manage the budget. Trump's the first business guy we ever had that actually reflects seriousness on the subject. He's trying to get investment in the United States. He knows there's going to be a possibility of a recession. There's going to be some bumps. Why? Because we have to adjust our economic model so that nations are going to no longer take advantage of us. And we're going to have manufacturing happening and giving our own people jobs and exporting products. Anyway, the Ukraine deal means that he doesn't want to get militarily involved with fighting Russia. But if Ukraine was smart, they'd sell Trump all the real estate on the front lines. Think of it. So Trump can do own the mineral rights so that he can start digging for rare minerals. If he owns the real estate around the border, Russia can't cross it because they're messing with Trump's real estate. Now you got a war with America over Trump and real estate. No one in the world's stupid enough to want to fight Trump over real estate. You get it? You see what he's doing? Takes a while for Zelensky to figure it out. Anyway, Trump wants the real estate because he wants to make money, and it creates a border with Russia, and he doesn't have to worry about a war. May the wisdom of God come on this man. All right, that's all the time we have for the show right now. I've got to take a break. My son Carl over here, Carl Alexander, signs off with me.
Yep.
Final thoughts? We're already 45 seconds over, and I'm not going to edit it.
Yeah, it would be illegal for Trump to take the land. It would be America's land. So, just thoughts on that.
Yeah, okay. So it's America's land. Thanks for that technicality. Because when he's out of office,
lawyer over here.
When he's out, I know you're the lawyer. When he's out of office, it becomes an American asset that is a contract treaty right. Anyway. Yeah. This is the end of our program today. I'm going to be also putting this on Prophetic Convertits. I hope Barry Siegel will be back with him again next week, and I look forward to seeing all of you. Don't forget this. Go to lancewallnau.com/lion. I've got a book for you. You don't even have to pay for it, but I'll get it to you. Now, if you're in Israel, I may get you a digital version because it's just getting printed right now. Go to lancewallnau.com/lion. It's my end time book. I haven't written a book in 4 years. It's the end time book on how the administration of sheep nations, governments, conservative influence, and global awakening is coming a bam in the face of totalitarianism, radical Islam, and globalism. We're seeing the end time collision happen. Call 1-800-910-6349 to get the book. It's free for your gift of any amount. How's that? lancewallnau.com/lion. Later on, it'll be $15 to $20 on Amazon. Get it for yourself right now at the price you want. God bless you. Talk to you again next week.
I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bedsheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate the world.